this shirt combo and nail combo is the most flattering, I would say. Alright, so today is Foundation Friday. This is where we try out a new foundation every single Friday on my channel. I'm stoked for this one because Laura Geller actually makes one of my favorite foundations, the Laura Geller Cover Lock Foundation. I have an old review on this, one of my go-tos. This has awesome coverage. If you have acne, this was one of my go-tos to cover it up. So I was super excited to see that Laura Geller launched another foundation. So this is the Filter, okay, I feel like I'm trying to say gefilte fish. Filter First Luminous Foundation. This foundation has 1 fluid ounce of product in it, retails for $38. This foundation right now only comes in 12 shades. So I picked up the lightest shade, Ivory. I'm gonna do swatches so you can see how this shade, Ivory, compares to Porcelain in here. The fact that they have a porcelain shade in this one, I'm assuming that they'll hopefully be expanding the shade range for lighter and deeper shades. It says it's a medium coverage foundation formulated with Luminous Smooth technology, a fabric-like technology that enhances and perfects skin without masking your overall complexion. It's supposed to softly diffuse, create a halo effect, and transform your skin to look naturally perfected. It does have grapeseed oil in it. If you're sensitive to oils like I am, just be aware of that. Most oils break me out. And it has aloe vera and vitamin E in it. So from that description, it definitely sounds like it's geared more towards dry skin to me. When I had oily skin, any foundations that had oil in them were just usually a total disaster. So right now my skin is more on the dry side. But I'm gonna insert swatches right here so we can see how the lightest shade Ivory compares to the shade Porcelain and some other foundations. So right here's the Laura Geller Filterverse foundation in the lightest shade Ivory. Next over is Laura Geller Cover Lock in Porcelain. So this one's definitely more kind of pink salmon toned. This one's a little bit more neutral. Here's Dermacol 208. Tarte Rainforest of the Sea in Porcelain. NARS Natural Radiant Foundation in Mont Blanc. Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation in 0.5, and CYO Life Proof in 101. But if you enjoy Foundation Fridays, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Burrito family and subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so it's a bit later than I normally start my Foundation Fridays. It's 11:38 in the morning today, but we are just gonna keep this on extra long today. It's gonna be a long night. So my skin is prepped. What I use is linked down below in the description box, but let's see how this shade is. I'm hoping this isn't gonna be too light right now. I have a tiny bit of leftover tanner on, but I scrubbed the crap out of my skin this morning in the shower, so hopefully I got most of it off. I think I did. I'm gonna do half my face with my e.l.f. brush. I desperately need to wash all my foundation brushes, and then the other half with my LA Girl sponge over here. Glass bottle, and it has a pump on it. It's definitely more runny than I was kind of expecting. The Laura Geller Cover Lock is pretty thick. I haven't done swatches yet, but this is, I can tell, definitely darker than the lightest shade of Cover Lock. Ooh, this feels so nice going on. It feels like velvety. It definitely feels very moisturizing. You can kind of feel the oils in there. Gliding on really easily, and it feels like nothing. Like it doesn't feel super heavy and foundation-y or anything. Ooh, looking pretty. Really pretty. I feel like that just applied so quickly. Does look like medium coverage to me, sitting really beautifully on top of my skin. Looks and feels just very lightweight. Looks like skin for sure. So let's try the sponge, and I still have a decent amount of product left over, so I didn't have to use a ton of foundation on that side. There are very few foundations where I get better coverage with a sponge. Normally I'll just use sponges for the finish. Like if I have a kind of heavier looking foundation, sponges can be good to smooth over. But as far as application, whoops, I almost always get better coverage with a brush, and that's what's happening with this one. Light coverage on this side. Prefer the brush side for sure, so I'm gonna go back in with my brush and just kind of use whatever I had left over. Actually, I need a little bit more. And build that up to get the same kind of coverage as we got on this side. You almost don't feel the foundation going on. That's how thin it feels. So that did build, and it looks beautiful. So I'm actually gonna go get the clip in natural lighting right now before I do the rest of my makeup, so you guys can see how it looks right now. It's 11:44. All right, so here we are up close in natural lighting. I'm looking in the mirror too for the first time. It looks really pretty. Has a really pretty glowy finish, but like I said, it looks super thin. It just looks like skin. It feels like skin. I don't feel like I can like feel the foundation on my face right now. Oh, look at that glow. If you had oily skin, you definitely want to powder this one because there is oil in it and it's definitely looking like pretty dewy. But dry skin, I'm not going to powder. I'm going to see how this feels on my cheek area. So I do have to powder this area of my face just so I can blend stuff on top of it because it does have a little bit of tackiness to it. It doesn't like set down dry. Let me get real up close. I need to pluck my eyebrows, ignore that. Shade looks pretty good out here. So far, I'm definitely into this one. I hope this wears well throughout the day, but I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so now it's 12:19, but the check-in time is around 11:50. Rest of my makeup's on. There were some things that I tried today that I really like, so I'll tell you guys what's on my face in a second, but foundation is looking beautiful. So far, so good. I would say that this lighting, it definitely looks the dewiest, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't look quite as glowy out in natural lighting, but I just got another clip so you guys can see right here. We're gonna do a flash test. If I can hold this freaking phone, here we go. Okay, so it looks like it has a little bit of a white cast. My face in there definitely looks about a shade or two, maybe a shade lighter than my neck. I don't think it looks too bad, but it definitely does look a little bit ghostly. Probably wouldn't wear this one. Yeah, I don't think I would wear this one in flash. So the makeup on the rest of my face, I tried out these palettes and holy shitsies, these are the new JCat Extreme Access Pocket Shadows. So I just used kind of like a combo of both of these. This shade right here like matches my shirt. Ooh, this one is pretty. This is like the perfect mustardy yellow shade. The matte shades in these two palettes were gorgeous. They actually reminded me kind of the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, just the way they went on and blended out. I went in with this bronzy shade and then this gold shade. This gold shade you have to work with. If you just try and use your finger, it like doesn't show up at all. But once you use a brush and wet this shade, that's what I used towards like the center of my eye right here. And then I also went in with this bronzy shade. So this one's Red Carpet Premiere and then this one is Walk of Stardom, and knowing JCat, I'm sure these are pretty affordable. For blush, bronzer, and my highlight, I used this new Becca thing. This is Endless Bronze and Glow, and it's kind of like this layered thing. This looks like it's gonna be way too dark, but if you use a light hand, it actually blends out to be fine. And then the blush, I use this shade, and I kind of mixed in a little bit of the bronzer too. And then I just went in with my highlight brush and dipped into that highlight, which was a pretty like light champagne kind of color. Also use this a little bit on my inner corner right there. So that one I would use again too. And then for lips, I used CoverGirl. Two things by CoverGirl. This is the Caramel Nude 205 lip liner, super pretty color. And then this one is 230 Cream. I just layered that right on top, and I put the lip liner all over my lips. And I think that's everything to report here. So again, the check-in time is 11:50. I'll see you guys in a few hours in natural lighting. Okay, so now it's 5:43, so it's been on for about 6 hours right now. And I was just looking in this mirror, and it actually has gotten a little bit, I don't want to say cakey, just like makeup-y looking. It definitely doesn't look as skin-like and like dewy and fresh looking as it did when I first put it on. So maybe my skin is just like soaking up all the oils, but it's creating like a weird kind of thing around where my concealer stops. But then also there's just some stuff going on. Let me show you my forehead first. Ooh, whoa, that just got dark. It just looks pretty like makeup-y on my forehead is the best word to describe it. It's almost like settling into some of my lines up here. Here's around my nose area, so you can really like see where my concealer kind of stops with this one, and it just doesn't look the best around my nose. Usually around my nose isn't like a major problem area or anything. I'm not getting too bad of creasing. Little ones right there. Right now it just doesn't look quite as good as it did 6 hours ago, but I'm gonna keep wearing this, so we'll see how it looks by the end of the night. Okay, so now it's 10:10, so it's been on for over 10 hours at this point. And I feel like it weirdly looks a little bit better now, like slightly better than the last check-in. For some reason it looks a little bit less cakey now. I just want to say this one is the most long-lasting foundation by any means. It's almost looking better on camera, but it looks like weirdly oily and just like kind of like breaking down around my nose area, and I don't usually get a whole lot of issues in that area. It's rubbed off a little bit in certain areas where I was probably resting my hand. Looks like I got some separation on the forehead. Doesn't look bad, I just feel like I started off up here and then just kind of like slowly went downhill the whole day, which is a bummer because it looked so freaking beautiful at the beginning. Maybe this one would be good mixed in with like the Catrice waterproof drops just to give it a little something extra, like a little more help throughout the day, or just another more long-lasting foundation because it looks beautiful when you first put it on. So I feel like there's probably some way I can salvage this one and make it work. I wouldn't wear this one again on its own. This one compared to the Lawless foundation, which I reviewed last week, I like this one more than the Lawless, I think, just because I'm not getting creasing and stuff. It looks a little bit better throughout the day, and obviously the shade is better. Lawless one definitely had more coverage, but this one I think overall I would choose over that one on its own. Oh, I feel like you can see a little bit better right here. Not directly under the light anymore. I also don't feel like my blush, bronzer, and highlight lasted very well, but I hope you guys enjoyed Foundation Friday. If you did, you can give this a thumbs up. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.